Sunbelt opening weekend. It's Locked On Sunbelt.
You are Locked On Sunbelt, your daily podcast on the Sunbelt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, good morning. Welcome to another edition of Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's going to come in handy during the NCAA tournament. And it is a Friday morning recording this. Did a little, went down to Jack, actually, and just coming back now. It could be, but it's just coffee. Okay. This episode is as much for me as it is for you, trying to focus a little bit on the baseball, catch up on the baseball. We'll go over the Sunbelt leaders. We do have some good series this week. Troy is at the Cajuns. They may be able to take advantage of the Cajuns because the Cajuns are in a bad way. They have won one total series this year. They've gotten swept by McNeese. Their Friday night starters on the shelf. It is not looking good. All right, so let's check out the standings, shall we? I will go over them. I probably should have done the graphic, but Troy is up top. They're off to a great start. They are 13-4. They're playing very well. Coastal is 12-5. Southern Miss is 12-5. How about Georgia State? Is that a little bit of a surprise? Do we need to go and see who Georgia State has played? They actually started off with 5 straight wins, beating Belmont and UT Martin. They did get 4 wins in a row there, beating Alabama A&M. So you got to check it out. And Alabama State, they took one on the chin against Georgia. And they did take 2 out of 3 against Western Carolina. They have lost their last couple against Georgia Tech and South Carolina. All right, so we'll see. The thing is, they being Georgia State, they're getting South Alabama. All right, so that's going to be an interesting series. South Alabama coming off a big win against Ole Miss. We have a couple of disappointing teams. All right, and I don't know if it's injuries or just not playing well outside of the Cajuns. And again, this is where, I know it's not bias per se. It's just who I covered being in Lafayette and in Mobile. But a couple of teams are off to tough starts. JMU was a tournament team last year. They're 5-11. Ouch. Old Dominion off to a rough start. They're 4-10. And remember, they don't have a home stadium. James Madison has lost 7 in a row. Arkansas State trying to turn it around, got off to a little bit of a good start. They're 7-9, but they've lost 4 in a row. They just lost to Memphis, and they got swept by Arkansas Pine Bluff pretty soundly. 9-2, 9-0, and 14-4. Oh, no. Hold on a second. Hold on 1 second. They won those. I'm backwards. So check that, reverse it. They actually won those ball games. I don't know why I thought they lost this. They've won those ball games. So they didn't get off to a great start, but they're now 7-9, having won 4 in a row. So maybe they're turning it around. All right. Like I said, this episode is for you as much as it is for me. All right. So maybe Arkansas State is starting to click. Okay. First thing in the morning. I'm not one of those guys who actually drinks the coffee to get going in the morning. I drink coffee for one reason. We don't need to go into that reason on a podcast episode. But I generally do not drink the coffee for the caffeine. Okay, so Arkansas State actually has won 4 in a row. And who do they have this weekend? Let's see who Arkansas State's got this weekend. They're hosting Marshall. All right. Let's see what Marshall is. Marshall's right in the middle. They are 10-7. Remember, Marshall had the daunting task of starting their season, poor guys in Hawaii. All right. And then they started at Georgia, and then they wrapped that up with Georgia Tech. So Marshall, how about this? Marshall is 10-7. Doesn't sound like a great record, except Marshall started out 2-6. So they have won 8 out of their last 9 ball games. Their only loss, which is, I guess, their last game played, they lost to Central Michigan 12-11. They had a string of wins. They beat Georgia Tech 12-8, swept FDU, beat Ohio in 12 innings, swept Bradley, and then had taken the first game from Central Michigan, lost the last game 12-11. Otherwise, they'd be on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 game winning streak. So they have won 9 out of their last 10. So they lost 6 out of their first 8, but now they've won 9 out of their last 10. What did we say? They started 2-6, but now they are 10-7. So that's really impressive. So Marshall's turning things around. Arkansas State is all of a sudden hot. Let's see where Georgia Southern is in this dealio. Standings wise, they're towards the top. They are 10-6. They started out with a series sweep of Western Carolina. Then they lost 3 in a row, losing to Georgia Tech, 2 out of 3 to South Florida. Did get the last ball game in 11 innings. Lost to College of Charleston. Did take 2 out of 3 from Campbell. Beat Charleston Southern. Lost at Jacksonville. Swept Brown. Take that for whatever it is worth. And now they're hosting Coastal, or they're at Coastal Carolina. All right. So we'll see. All right. So we got some teams. We got the typical outside of the Cajuns. You got Troy, Southern Miss, Coastal Carolina at the top. We'll see if Georgia State is a facade or not. We'll see if some of the teams that got off to slow starts, Arkansas State, all of a sudden has won 4 in a row. We'll see if they've turned that around. And we'll see if Marshall can continue their good play, as, again, they have played well as of late. All right, let's dive into more of the series after I tell you about, let's see, who am I telling you about? I'm telling you about Nissan and FanDuel. We're all about the stats because those numbers don't lie. And when it comes to the all-new Nissan Armada Pro 4X, the numbers are on the MVP level. With the ability to tow up to 8,500 pounds, it can quite literally carry the whole team, plus the gear, wherever you need to go. It's powered by a twin-turbo V6 engine, delivering the strength and performance to handle highways, back roads, and everything in between. And with the room for up to 8 people, the Armada Pro 4X is built for big crews, big adventures, and even bigger memories. Whether you're exploring off-road trails or rolling up to the arena, the Armada Pro 4X brings power, versatility, and style wherever you go. Take your adventures to new heights in the all-new Nissan Armada Pro 4X. Learn more at nissanusa.com. And FanDuel. March Madness is here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories, and who's even cutting down the nets. Picking my favorites, I got my eye on a few underdogs this year. Maybe the Troy Trojans can pull an upset. And FanDuel makes it easy to pick them with spreads, totals, and game props. Staying in on the action with the tournament games happening almost every day, there's always something exciting to bet on. The FanDuel app is simple to use, and when I win, I get paid instantly. No waiting around. So visit FanDuel.com and get in on the college hoops action all tournament long. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. On a side note, it was gorgeous. I will say, Jack Daniels, you got to want it. It is out there. The distillery I work at, Jim, is right off the highway. I mean, a minute and a half off the highway. Jack is not. It's lovely. And the guy gave the tour, basically the same tour, a little bit longer. And the tasting is after. Ours is in the middle, during. But you got to want it. I'm just going to say, you do have to want it. All right. So the big series is obviously, I say obviously, but it's Troy, the top dog, going to the Cajuns. And I don't even know. I'm presuming that's a bad presumption on my part. Let's see what we got here. Let me see here. Ragin Cajuns baseball. Let me see if they got a preview here. They are going to be wearing green for the series. St. Patrick's Day is Sunday, or Monday, so that's pretty cool. I do not see a preview of the series. Let's see, because I want to see if we have a pitching dealio. I thought they actually got a pretty good pitching outing on Friday. Oh, here we go. All right. It's right on the front page. Preview series. They do a good job of this. All right. Matthew Holtzhammer will go to the mound for second career start. And the 2 remaining games are to be determined. Okay. Do we have you got Gareth Gaines? So far 2-0, 4.42 ERA. The numbers are not great. 20 hits in 18 and a third innings pitched, 10 runs, 9 earned, 7 walks, 17 strikeouts. Those are not fantastic numbers by any stretch of the imaginations. Noah Edders, 2-0, 20 innings. He's got a 4.5 ERA, 20 innings pitched, 15 hits, 11 runs, 10 earned, 6 walks, 20 strikeouts. Not great numbers either. All right. Drew Nelson, better numbers, 17 hits. He's got a 3-0 with a 2.08 ERA, 21 and a third innings pitched, 17 hits, 10 runs, only 5 earned, 9 walks, 18 strikeouts. So a few walks being given up. Although Edders does pretty well. Edders, that's more than a 3-to-1 ratio. That's pretty good. These guys are built pretty well. Does Skyler Mead tell us that? I mean, Garrett is 6'4", 220, because I think that's what I brought up to these coaches when the Cajuns were taking on Texas and A&M in the regionals. That those other guys are just bigger. That the Cajuns just don't have the size to deal with that. And these are the middle relievers coming out. Cajuns may have 1 or 2 guys, but everybody on A&M and on Texas was 6'4", 220. These are some pretty big guys. Garrett's 6'4", 220. Noah Edders is 6'4", 232. Even Drew Nelson is put together. He's only 5'11", but a stout 210. That's put together pretty good. So we'll see if the Cajuns. It does not look good for the Cajuns right now. Okay, they've had a couple of shining spots this year by beating Nebraska and taking a Friday night ball game from Dallas Baptist, but that's been it. They lost to Troy twice. They lost the series at home to open it up against San Jose State. Chase Morgan is not in the rotation anymore. I think that's more due to injury than to play. And so it does not look good at all right now for the Cajuns. All right. We'll see if they turn things around. I'll be the first to tell you that, that 17-game winning streak did come out of nowhere last year. So, those things do happen. Not that 17-game winning streaks things happen, but you can turn things around quickly is all I'm saying. All right. So this would be a good way to turn things around for the Cajuns. And let's see where we are with Troy. Troy is led by Brooks Bryan, having another great season. 318, 4 home runs, leads the conference with 28 RBIs. Just having a great year. Getting a lot of pub. Looking really good. The other interesting, I guess, Troy at Louisiana isn't 2 top teams, that's for sure. But Georgia Southern at Coastal is in terms of the standings. Coastal Carolina is tied for second, and Georgia Southern technically is tied for fifth. So that's a nice matchup. Let's see what we got going there a little bit. So that'll be interesting, and see if can Georgia Southern take a ball game. The idea when you're doing that is to not get swept, and obviously it's so huge for those road teams to take that Friday night game, because that just takes the pressure off. Boom. Now we just have to win one of the last 2. Not that you want to relax, but all of a sudden, now we can't get swept. We've done our job. Now we can actually sweep. That's a huge dealio when you can take that Friday night ball game on the road. All right. So might as well just go through all of the schedule here really quickly. Marshall's at Arkansas State. We mentioned that. Some of these games, I may actually go to the Louisville, Carolina matchup here in Louisville. I haven't been to a baseball game, and I'm off on the day. So we may do that. Marshall's at Arkansas State. That's at 3 p.m. I think it's Eastern time. Since that's where I'm located, how my computer works. No, I'm going to say Central time. ULM at James Madison, 3 p.m. That's going to be Eastern time. Texas State at App State, 5 p.m. in lovely Boone, North Carolina. Texas State seems to be a little bit down. Let me see those standings. Where is Texas State? Texas State is only 8-8. That's a little bit interesting. All right. Hadn't seen them. Hadn't mentioned them. So Texas State is at App State. We mentioned Georgia Southern at Coastal Carolina. That's a big series. And then you got South Alabama at Georgia State. So we're going to find out who is for real. South Alabama has they've had the good and the bad so far, if you ask me. They got off to a tremendous start, winning their tournament, beating Eastern Kentucky twice. I think Mark Calvi got his 400th win, but then, they got swept by UAB. They lost New Orleans. They beat Alabama State. They did take 2 out of 3 from Jacksonville. They did take 2 out of 3 from La Tech. So they did turn it around. Well, let's see here. They did take 2 out of 3 from La Tech, and they beat Ole Miss. So they have won. They've actually won 5 out of 6. So that's pretty good after they lost 5 out of 6. So it has been a streaky season so far for South Alabama. They won 4 in a row, lost 4 in a row, lost 5 out of 6. And then they won 3 out of 4. And now they've won 5 out they've won 3 in a row. They've won 5 out of their last 6. And we will see if Georgia State, did they beat up on lesser teams, or have they are they for real? So we shall see. Georgia State, I think, is getting their own ballpark, but that's not going to be done until the 26th season. All right, let's check out who are the better players, or at least off to a good start. I'm usually one of those guys that month in, and we're a month in, so the starts are over. All right. You get 1 month, and that's the start of the baseball season. All right. We'll do that after I tell you about Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. When I started using Monarch, I realized just how much I was spending on food delivery. Now I budget smarter and save more. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com. Code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. Monarch Money. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. All right, let's check out the leaders. We mentioned Brooks Bryan getting a little bit of pub. So richly deserves having another fantastic year. But I think I saw, let's see who's leading the league in hitting. Sean Smith with Georgia Southern at a 475 clips, kind of over 1,500 OPS. He's played in 16 ball games so far. He's got 28 base hits. Does that lead the conference? It does. He's got 28 base hits and 29 and 59 at bats. I mean, that's outrageous. And 14 walks. So he's got 59 at bats, and he's been on base 42 times. I'm sorry. Plus the hit by pitches. So 18 and 28, that's actually 46 times. So that's unbelievable. His on-base percentage is .582. That's crazy. Has struck out 12 times, though. So that's almost once a game. Shockingly enough, he has struck out almost once a ball game. Stephen Meyer from Troy is up next, hitting .419. He's got 26 base hits, scored 31 runs. That leads the conference. That's awesome. Does have 14 RBIs and 3 home runs. He does not have the total bases. Smith has the total bases. Juan Correa from App State is second in total bases. He's off to a great start. 51 total bases. He's hitting .329 on the season. And again, you get these guys that you just can't follow every single baseball team. Jay Cook with Southern Miss hitting .452. Seems to be the slap hitter of the crew. No home runs, 1 triple. Anybody with the stolen bases? Where are all the stolen bases? That could be. Stephen Meyer's got 11 stolen bases in 13 attempts. So he's the speed guy. Sean Smith's got 8 home runs as well. What a season he's having. Juan Correa's got 8 home runs. Colin Hynek of Georgia State's got 7 home runs. Shane Lewis has 6 home runs, and Ethan Murdoch has 5 home runs. And then it goes, a bunch of guys have 4 home runs. All right. So those are your hitting leaders. Let me do some RBIs guys as well. It's going to be the same guys. Although Brooks Bryan leads the conference with 28 RBIs. Juan Correa and William McGinnis have 22, along with Sean Darnell of Troy and Blake Cavell of Troy. All have 22. So make sure we understand this. That's how Troy's off to a good year. Brooks Bryan leads the conference with 28 RBIs. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4 guys that have 22, and 2 of them are with Troy. Plus the guy who leads the conference is with Troy. And And Georgia Southern's Sean Smith has 21 RBI. So interesting. Guy's got 8 home runs, but only the 21 RBI. Colin Hynek has the 20 RBIs. Morrison Kyle, that seems not to be backwards. That seems to be Kyle Morrison. He's only got 2 home runs, but he does have 19 runs batted in for South Alabama. So he's having a good season. All right, so that is the hitting. Let's go to the pitching side of things. See, these are tough because you only get a couple of games. We need to go really by innings pitched. Zach Willingham of South Alabama in a couple of ball games has a 1.42 ERA, 19 innings pitched. He's got 10 walks, but only 4 runs, 3 earned. Let's see if we can. Who's got the most innings pitched? Here you go. Riley Eichhoff of Coastal Carolina, 1.80 ERA, 3-0, 25 innings pitched, 18 hits, 6 runs, 5 earned, 5 walks, and 17 strikeouts. That's what I'm talking about. Batting average against is 200. Outstanding. All right. Cross Sibley from Southern Miss, also a 1.0 ERA, 25 innings, 21 hits, 7 runs, 5 earned, 5 walks, 22 strikeouts. That's what I'm looking. And here you go. He's got 10 strikeouts looking. That's impressive. So that's probably a breaking ball. Kyle Maloney of Arkansas State with a 2.16 ERA, 25 innings pitched, only 13 base hits, a couple of walks, 12 walks, 25 strikeouts, 13 strikeouts looking. Dylan Brown and Blake Morgan are pitching well for Old Dominion in terms of innings pitched, but not getting a lot of support. And Blake Morgan's actually given up a bunch of runs. They've gotten some innings pitched. All right, so strikeouts. Let's go to strikeouts. Dylan Brown's got 35 strikeouts and 22 in a third innings pitched. Caleb White's got 30 strikeouts in 20 innings pitched for Georgia State. And Colin Maloney for Arkansas State's got 25 strikeouts in 25 innings. Let's see if we got saves. We don't seem to have saves. Anybody got saves? We don't have. Colby Allen for Southern Miss has got 4 saves. That's about it. All right. Zach Willingham for South Alabama's got a save, and Brady Penley for Georgia Southern has a save. So interestingly, Zach Willingham has a save, but he started 2 ball games. Okay. Interesting. All right. So that is where we are. We have had one more SID reach out. We'll see. Maybe I'll get some more today in terms of football coaches. Certainly got some great feedback from Jared Parker interview. I'm going to do one more clip. The last question. We're going to cut that up. See if we can make that a couple of clips. Try to keep it under a minute. Maybe I can make it. Can do the Twitter clip and the YouTube clip over a minute. The TikTok's got to be under a minute and other things. So I don't make the rules, but I do ask them because we do talk about Chris Lewis, and I could make a Big Chill reference, but that's an old movie. But these guys, this is not a football injury. It's not a, we'll just finish school and go on with life type of deal. This is a real life situation that these teenagers and young men are dealing with. And it's interesting to find out how Jared Parker is helping them cope with that. So we'll maybe cut that up. All right. Everybody have a great weekend. We will obviously have a Monday. Maybe we'll do a quick Sunday show. I'm sure I'll do a quick hit on who Troy is playing in the NCAA tournament. We'll see if we can get Scott Cross on. That may be a tough ask, but we'll see. Maybe we can get Scott Cross on for later on in the week. Obviously, he's going to be very, very busy. All right. Appreciate all the support. Did miss one episode. It is what it is. I'm not sure I had the best of all internet connection where where I was. Have a great weekend. We'll be back with you on Monday. Enjoy the baseball and, of course, the Sunday Selection Show. We'll certainly have a full recap, and hopefully we'll be able to have a crossover episode with whoever Troy plays. All right. You've been watching and listening to a Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day.